In Queens, New York, an elderly couple's home went up in flames. But the fire wasn't just a tragedy, police say it was a cover-up. What the blaze tried to erase, digital footprints preserved. Tonight, we uncover how investigators pieced together a timeline of surveillance, purchases, and data to identify a suspect, 42-year-old Jamal McGriff. The fire. On the morning of August 16, 2025, neighbors in Belrose, Queens woke to the sight of smoke and sirens. Inside the home of Frank and Maureen Olton, both in their 70s, firefighters made a devastating discovery. Reports from NYPD and prosecutors indicate that Frank had been tied and stabbed, while Maureen suffered catastrophic burns. Officials quickly ruled the blaze was set intentionally. This wasn't an accident. It was homicide and arson, layered together. For investigators, arson is one of the hardest crimes to solve. Fire consumes fingerprints, DNA, and physical traces. But fire can't destroy everything. And in this case, technology, the silent witness of our modern world, began to fill the gaps. How did he get inside? In the hours before the fire, neighbors reported a man moving through the community, asking strangers if he could charge his phone. Detectives believe this was the same man who ended up at the Oltons' door. Some accounts suggested Frank might have agreed to charge the phone himself while the man waited outside the gate. But prosecutors later revealed that video evidence suggests the suspect forced his way in. On one recovered clip, they say you can hear a voice yelling at him to get out. This wasn't a casual visit gone wrong. Officials allege it was a home invasion. Building the timeline. Arson destroys physical evidence. But it rarely deletes the timeline. That's what investigators built next. Surveillance video. Cameras in the neighborhood recorded a man entering the Oltons' home shortly after 10 a.m. hours passed. At 3 p.m., the same man was seen leaving, carrying bags. Soon after, smoke. Credit card activity. Detectives say Frank Olton's credit card was used not long after. But it wasn't just the card. Prosecutors allege the suspect linked the purchase to a Macy's Rewards account in his own name. That detail alone ties the crime to an identity. Movie theater footage. Officials say surveillance later caught the same man at a Regal movie theater in Manhattan. The tickets? Allegedly purchased with the victim's card. While the community grieved, police say the suspect was reclining in a theater seat. Phone and movement data. Witnesses recalled the suspect's story of a dead phone. Investigators layered that claim with tower pings and movement logs, suggesting where the phone had been, and wasn't. In a digital age, even excuses leave traces. Each piece alone raises suspicion. Together, they form a digital shadow prosecutors say the fire could not erase. The arrest. By August 18, just 2 days later, police announced an arrest. Near Times Square, NYPD officers took 42-year-old Jamal McGriff into custody. According to reports, he was on parole at the time. At arraignment, prosecutors charged him with an array of counts: first-degree murder, arson, kidnapping, burglary, robbery, identity theft, and weapons possession. The judge ordered McGriff held without bail. In court, prosecutors added another chilling detail. They said McGriff confessed after his arrest, acknowledging involvement. His defense team will have the chance to challenge both the statement and how it was obtained. In criminal law, even a confession must be scrutinized for admissibility. Understanding the charges. This isn't just a murder case. It's layered. First-degree murder. In New York, that charge can involve killing during the course of another felony. Prosecutors allege the murder occurred during robbery and arson. Arson, not just setting a fire, but setting one to conceal or enable another crime. Kidnapping and burglary, based on evidence that Frank was restrained, and the unlawful entry into the home. Identity theft, using the victim's credit cards and linking purchases to a personal loyalty account. Each charge carries its own penalty, but together they paint the picture of a high-stakes trial. This isn't a single act of violence, it's a chain of criminal allegations. Digital evidence on trial. Why does this case matter beyond Queens? Because it shows how digital evidence stacks. Cameras create a timeline. Transactions authenticate it. Phone records add movement. Each by itself can be questioned. Together, they form a web that's hard to escape. But defense attorneys will probe every thread. Were timestamps accurate? Was the Macy's account correctly linked? Could surveillance misidentify a person? Were warrants properly obtained for digital records? The courtroom battle won't just be about what happened inside that house, it will be about the reliability of the digital shadows left behind. A broader look at arson investigations. Arson cases are notoriously complex. Fires don't just destroy evidence, they also create misleading patterns. Investigators often need specialized training to tell accidental electrical faults from deliberate accelerants. That's why digital evidence becomes crucial. In past cases across the U.S., investigators have relied on receipts for gas cans, surveillance near hardware stores, or even smart home devices that recorded unusual activity. The Olton case echoes a theme seen nationwide. When fire wipes out physical traces, digital trails often take center stage. The community impact. Neighbors in Belrose held a vigil for Frank and Maureen. Candles lined the street, prayers were spoken, and voices cracked as friends remembered a couple deeply woven into the fabric of their community. For communities, arson doesn't just kill. It destroys the sense of safety at home, the one place people should feel secure. And in neighborhoods where trust runs deep, the loss resonates far beyond one block. What comes next? McGriff's case now moves through the courts. Expect pre-trial hearings, motions about evidence admissibility, and potentially psychiatric evaluations. Prosecutors have laid out a broad theory of the crime, but defense counsel will attempt to dismantle it piece by piece. Every detail, from the timing of surveillance to the use of the loyalty account, will be tested. That's the essence of the adversarial system. Every claim must withstand challenge. In the end, the fire destroyed a home, but it couldn't burn away the timeline. Cameras, cards, phones, all became silent witnesses. Prosecutors argue those shadows point to guilt. Defense attorneys will argue about flaws, rights, and doubt. For Frank and Maureen's family, the trial is just beginning. For us, it's a reminder that in a connected world, crimes don't vanish into smoke. They linger in data, waiting to be uncovered. This is Silent Veil. Subscribe for cinematic true crime every Tuesday and Friday, as we follow the evidence where it leads.